In last Sunday's reading from the Gospel of Mark, Peter answers the question that Jesus asks, "Who do people say I am?" "You are the Messiah," Peter says, but he obviously misunderstands what the Messiah means. He seems to see Jesus as a powerful political leader, not someone who will suffer and lose his life or take the side of the poor. And Jesus tells Peter he's thinking like a human being does, not as God does. And he even calls him Satan. Peter obviously doesn't understand Jesus. In today's gospel, the other disciples seem to misunderstand him too. On their journey through Galilee, they don't question Jesus about his talk about being handed over and killed and then rise again. They're convinced he's powerful enough to change the face of their society. And they're wondering what that's going to mean for them. Like Peter, they're also thinking like human beings and not like God. So in Mark's Gospel today, Jesus takes his disciples aside to speak to them. They enter a house in Capernaum, but they're silent when he asks them what they're thinking about. They don't know even how to talk about it. They're thinking about how he's going to help them to get ahead. If you want to get ahead, Jesus says to them, be the last of all and the servant of all. And then, taking a child, he placed it in their midst and putting his arms around it, he said to them, whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me. Now, in Jesus' time, children didn't have the place in society they have today. Socially, legally, culturally, children were hardly recognized. They were completely dependent on others for everything. Remember the gospel incident where the disciples pushed the little children away. They're not important. And Jesus calls them back. You won't enter the kingdom of heaven unless you become like children, Jesus says to them. Jesus came not to be politically powerful, to be universally accepted, to be everywhere acclaimed. He came to serve the nobodies of humanity, the children. If you want to be my disciple, that's where you'll find greatness, he said to them. His own disciples were slow to understand this, and we are too. But if there's a message of hope that we have as we listen to this gospel, it's this. Jesus never loses patience with his own disciples. He never gives up on them. He never gives up on us either. He knows we think like human beings do. He stays with us to help us to think like God does.